Uh, I do feel a little bit sorry for the officials because they change the definition of a handball every summer. So last year that gets given. You know, when you look at the trajectory of his arm, the fact we've got a player arriving on the ball behind him. Yeah, it's then the fact that probably infuriates me is then the fact that Zach Viner then smashes one at Jaden Anthony 2 yards away near the halfway line that then gets given. So it's just, for me, that's a bit. I don't think anybody knows. You know, that's unfortunately a problem with the game. Every summer they're tweaking and changing things, and yeah, like I said, I do feel sorry because when you're trying to get consistency across however many officials and you keep changing it every summer, I think it becomes quite difficult.
But as you know, the laws at the moment, that should have been penalties. That is what you're saying.
For me, yeah.
Second half was a bit strange because you could have gone 2 or 3 down in a period where they were right on top, and in the end, could easily have got a point.
Yeah, well, the one Max made a terrific save, didn't he? I thought, yeah, they obviously had that period. The first 5 minutes were actually okay. The second half, it was in that 10 minute period where they got on top a little bit. Hence, we made the changes. You know, Max made an outstanding save. We made the changes, and it kind of gave us a bit of a lift. Priggy had terrific impact, I thought, as did you. And yeah, it's one of those. Did we do enough to win the game? No, not for me. But I felt like we could have got something from the game, given the volume of pressure, the questions that we asked, the areas we got into. You had obviously that terrific chance, numerous corners, wide free kicks, got into some really good areas, and ultimately just lacked quality, you know, on the final bit in the box.
Yeah, that was a big moment, the you chance, wasn't it? Did you feel that was a poor finish or a good save?
I thought the touch was a little bit heavy, which he's then chasing it and ends up trying to lift it because of how close he gets to the goalkeeper. So he'll score those in the future, I have no doubt on that. I know his quality, I see it every day, we've seen it in games. So it's like I say, it's frustrating, disappointing today, but across the course of the season he'll score more of them than he misses.
Max Bird set it up and he broke through a few times from midfield and he got in front of the strikers, which is something presumably you're encouraging him to do.
Yeah, it was probably I thought in the first 10 minutes we got in behind him quite well. I thought, you know, Hayden got into some good areas and got some crosses in. Naki had one where he went down the right hand side, and I thought we, you know, got in behind him quite well first half, and then for the first 10 minutes, and then I thought we became a little bit passive with the ball, and whether it's belief, whether it's purpose, I thought we could have asked more questions, which, you know, you then second half where we come out and naturally you're chasing it a little bit. We had a bit more purpose, a bit more bravery, a bit more intent, you know, to try and ask questions, and yeah, I thought we applied some good pressure without, like I said, having the quality in the final bit.
Are they going to be as good as you face here, do you think? Are they one of the best teams in the division?
I think so. When you look at it, you look at, you know, what they've invested, you look at the, you know, the quality of player, and the fact that, you know, they're really well set up, well organised. You only have to look at games this season. They don't give up many chances. They defend extremely well.
They did defend strongly at the end, didn't they? Because you had all the ball for a while in that last about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we got in great areas. Pringy put in some terrific crosses. I thought, you know, we had a few diagonals out that side, and yeah. We've definitely progressed at that. There are bits for me, you know, like previous in games when we're chasing and a team sits off like that. We've not always asked questions and, you know, sometimes been a bit passive. Whereas I thought we showed a bit of bravery second half to, you know, to hit diagonals, to cross things in the box, to, you know, to ask questions. And it wasn't, like I said, I'm sorry, it's not for a lack of trying, a lack of will, a lack of intent. For me, it was just a lack of quality.
It was good to watch. Thanks.
You mentioned that, like, that first 10 minutes, it really felt you came on imposed and then drifted off of it. Do you think that's the next step this team kind of needs to take? I know it's such a young group, but to kick on and really push for those top 6 places is do that for a half, do that for 90 minutes, and really, especially at home, put it to the opposition.
I think unfortunately you've got another team trying to stop you doing it, and I think that's the big bit for me. You're up against some really intelligent players that are able to then problem solve and do something different. So, like I said, the first 10 minutes we got Joy a certain way. They then changed how they built up, so it then pushed us a bit deeper, which is not ideally what we want. We want to, you know, try and get after it and press high. We then changed it to the 4 and managed to get a little bit higher. So to think you're ever going to play a game and dominate for 90, 95 minutes is just not realistic at championship level, I don't think. It's how do you know, if you look at the second half, it's a 10-minute spell where they're on top versus first half's probably a 30-minute spell. So for me, it's how do you shift momentum, how do you get on top, and then when you're on top, how do you try and sustain it? And then when you're up against it, how do you see that period through? So, yeah, like I said, and they're the areas I think the lads have really improved at. You know, I think back to Norwich, how we managed the game there. Even today's second half, you know, the intent was definitely there.
With George, was that just tactical? I know he got one on the ankle, it looked like late on in the first half. George coming off, was that just a tactical call?
Yeah, just tactical. It was really difficult, obviously, off the back of Norwich. Everybody deserved pretty much the opportunity. It's difficult to make too many changes, so hence we kept with the 5. George played, and George didn't do anything wrong to come off first half. It was actually more if you look at the difference in the two, you tends to be a more out-and-out winger, so we wanted, to keep the width, and yeah, as you saw, we managed to get the ball to him. He caused a few problems down that side, and obviously had a terrific opportunity, so it was a tactical one. George didn't do anything wrong.
With you've mentioned it, players coming back, that bench today, keeping an eye this season, it seems to be as strong as you really have to pick from. Is that on a bit of a negative result? That's such a positive to take, that you've got those options and you can throw Twiney on, you can make those changes? Yeah,
definitely. I think it allows you, and I have to say I thought we physically looked good at the end as well, in terms of running capacity. I thought we finished strong, and Pringy came on, was excellent. He's really unfortunate not to start Pringy given how well he did at Norwich, but for me it's then putting the team first, and when you're called upon doing what he did today, because I thought he had real purpose with everything he did. So again, having that, the option to bring on someone like him, Twiney, etc., and I think it speaks volumes where we're at, and it's only going to stand us in good stead when you look at how many games we've got coming up in the next 6 weeks.
Obviously that starts on Tuesday. I think we spoke about it on Thursday, how much you're looking forward to that run of games. I guess everyone in that group is now just really excited by that chance to go and kick on again, get back to winning ways Tuesday night. Yeah, definitely.
Let's be clear, it's a really tough place to go. Their form at home is excellent, Watford, so we know it's going to be another tough one, but especially in this period coming up, you can't get too hung up. Am I disappointed to lose, or do I like losing? No, I hate it. But ultimately, when the lads give everything, and it's just a bit of quality against a really strong opposition, we have to reflect on it and then park it very quickly, because like you said, on Tuesday's another one where we have to respond as a group and go and show what we're about.
I'm sorry to ask about injuries again, but I forgot to ask on Thursday. I didn't hear it mentioned before the game today. How's Mark Sykes doing? Because obviously he picked up a knock Sheffield United here, wasn't it, last time? How's he doing? When could he be back?
Yeah, he had a small setback in some of his bits. In his rehab stuff, so he had a tiny setback, which is the case with some of them. He doesn't always go smooth and exactly on time frames that are set, but it'll probably be another week or two, couple of weeks, I think. Thank you.
Hi, Liam. Just a couple of general questions. Since you came in, how would you say the club culture has changed and the sort of progress that you feel that you're happy that you've made?
Yeah, I think it's always the challenge is always pre, right? So you hear stuff, but I don't know what it was like pre. All I can talk around is from day one to where I'm at now. I think we've really progressed in terms of when you look at it, I think just the consistency of the performances. I think when you spoke a lot about it recently, but the only times where I've gone with miles off it is Blackburn away for a whole game and then a half at Derby. The rest of the time we've been extremely competitive, and that's the bit I think when I look at the group in terms of what they've really progressed at is a real hunger and appetite and desire to learn the game. I'm predominantly a coach, so I want to coach the players to get better, and hence the work we do. A lot of video work, we do a lot of extras on the pitch, real position specific work to try and help the players when they step on the pitch be better prepared. And then I think when I look at it, the balance of the group and the profile of the group's changed for me. We've got more options, but we've added a lot more physicality, I feel, in terms of we had lots of players that had a really good running capacity last year, but we've added some real power, which again I think when you look at it only helps us.
Do you feel you have a group that's looking more upwards than downwards? Because obviously there's a couple of bad seasons, well, tricky seasons, shall I say?
I think so, yeah. Like I said, we've been in, by them games I mentioned, we've been in every game. And, we had the fans forum on Wednesday when I spoke, and we've drawn quite a few games this season, but you do get three feelings after a draw. You nick the point. You've nicked the point. You're kind of happy, like we were here against Leeds, where you guys probably fair, which may be today, and then you go right. We've probably could have got more, and I think we've had more of we probably should have won today than the others. So I think it shows how close we are, that we're heading in the right direction. Like I said, the performances, the consistency is now how do you turn those into more wins.
Yeah. I mean, do you use these games, particularly these games against Leeds, against Burnley, obviously the Sheffield United, as the yardsticks really, because they're the teams that are going to be up there, aren't they?
I think, I don't spend too much time and investing too much energy in the opposition of benchmarks. For me, it's benchmarking against ourselves. Like today, did we hit the level we're capable of? No, quality-wise, but behaviours, yes, which again I think is the biggest bit. Do the players step on the pitch now and have a real clear plan, clear identity, clear way of playing and consistently get close to exit? Yes, I think we do. It's then the final bit, which for me is the bit that you need to get over to then turn consistent performances into results. And I generally think we're not far from that.